Hey everybody, this is a 20-gallon tank in my wife's room, and tonight we're going to do some maintenance on it. The first thing I'm going to do is change out the light bulbs. They've been driving me crazy in there. On the right we've got a 6500K, and on the left we've got a 2700K. And if you look up towards the top of the tank where you can really see where the light's shining on the back, you can really see the difference between that bright white or cool white as it's referred to, and then you've got the warm or soft white on the left, and gives you that much more glowy sort of orangey kind of look, and it gives the tank very much of a two-tone sort of feel. And the softer or the oranger light's not particularly good for plant growth. So I bought some LED replacements. They're screw-in, standard E-type base, but they are LED, so hopefully I'll never have to replace them again once I put them in there. I screwed one into a light bulb in the other room, or a light socket in the other room, just to get an idea what they look like, and I think they're going to look really nice. They're going to be about 5000K is what it appears. I can't remember what it actually says on the box, but I'll check again. In addition to all of that, I'm probably not going to focus too much on the wiping the glass down and all that, because I'm going to get in there and I'm going to rip a lot of that Java moss out. I'm going to pull that temple plant or Java fern that's hanging around on the left there, whatever that stuff is that's kind of up near the top on the left. That's coming out. That big stick in the middle that's sticking up with some old Java fern stuck to it is coming out. And of course I'm going to leave the Anubias or sword or whatever that is off to the right. I'm not even sure what's in this tank anymore. It's been so long since I've really been in here messing around with it. So I've got a couple of big old chunks of Java fern selected out of my bucket in the basement. I've got a bunch of Java fern and water Sprite. I've said before, and I'm going to start saying probably on pretty much all my videos, if you're interested in buying any of my excess plants, I'll put my email address down below, and you can hit me up and talk to me. We'll talk about getting you some of my plants, because I've always got excess. So whenever you're seeing this video, if you're interested in either water Sprite or Java fern, I've probably got some. So I'm taking some of the stuff that I've got and I'm putting it in this tank, and I'm putting new lights on it, and we're going to do a big water change. And I've already added a couple of new endlers. My office tank is just overrun with little baby guppies and endlers and stuff, and I've been trying to sort them out today. So several of the males got put in this tank, and then a bunch of females, and then little fry got put in my T-bar tank downstairs. So don't know how long they're going to last, but the adult females should stick around for a while. In any case, back to this tank. Go ahead and consider this part of the video your before, and there's your after. So quite a difference. I love these LEDs in here, and so does my wife. They look fantastic, and the tank is nice and brightly lit again. So in addition to the color temperature being a little more suitable, a little more pleasing to the eye, it's softer than the 6500K that we had on the right, but it's obviously much cooler than the 2700K we had on the left. So this is indeed a 5000K set of LEDs, and I really like the way they look. So I wound up getting in there and removing a lot more stuff than I thought I was going to. The big chunky stuff floating on the left hand side that I thought was temple plant really was Java fern, and it was just kind of clinging on by some roots and some stringy stuff that was still kind of hanging onto the rocks in the bottom, but more or less wasn't really, it was basically floating. So that came out, and then the stick in the middle was more than just a stick in the middle. It went all the way down to the bottom and then branched off and went all the way across the bottom, and had all that Java moss growing on it, and it also had the little bit of Java fern on the left that I said was pretty good looking, and we were going to leave it in there. So that all came out because it was all growing together and it was all gunky and nasty, and it's not like I've got a shortage of Java fern. And then of course we can have a look over here, and I never really did bother to look to see whether this was Anubias or a sword, and now that I'm looking at it, we can see that it is indeed Anubias. And the way you can tell is a sword will have a central sort of central growth area where all of the spikes will come up and out of that central area, whereas the Anubias is a rhizome, and you'll have what looks like a big thick green root-like thing growing along, and then the leaves will grow out of that. So I'm pretty sure that's the difference. I could be wrong about that. If I am, by all means, let me know in the description below. I'm just pulling that out of my head. I believe that to be the difference, but as I said, I could be wrong about that. So I'll actually look into that after I'm done shooting this video, now that I've said it. You can kind of see that white stuff in the back. I did put some of the oyster grit in here. I shot a video the other day about oyster grit. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll put a link to that video if you want to check it out. And other than that, there's not really a lot to talk about. I did add a little bit of floating water Sprite, you can see in there. It'll take a little while, but it'll stop laying on its side like that. The roots will start hanging down and it will start growing upright. And as the fronds start growing across the water, it'll right itself, and eventually it'll look like the water Sprite does in my other tanks, where it's, you know, hanging there and you've got all those beautiful roots hanging down into the water, and then the green canopy across the surface will reduce the lighting in this tank. I grant you, it is a little on the bright side. It's pretty and it's a nice lighting, but it is a bit bright for this small tank. So as that water Sprite grows in and gets nice and thick, that will create some shading for the fish in there, and it won't be quite so bright. I love it when quarries do that. So there you go. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. This is a big change from what we started with in this tank a little while ago. So I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed shooting it. Don't forget, this one here is my wife's tank. Thanks again for watching it. I'll see you real soon in the next one.